Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. The way that this episode was structured, in some ways, is more interesting than the actual episode itself. And of course, I'm going to sit there and start off with Carly and Nina because we've been waiting for this for a while. And I'm going to be honest, in some ways, it was kind of a letdown. And this is what I'm talking about with the structure of it, okay? Because Carly meanders for a little bit before she does tell Nina the truth. But then she does tell Nina, hey, listen, you're Willow's mother and stuff like that, and she needs a bone marrow, so we gotta go right now. No, 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 no. We still got a good 30-something minutes left. Tell me a story. That's literally what Nina says. No, 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 no. But you gotta sit there and tell me. And Carly's like, we don't have time for this right now. Well, then talk fast. What the okay, sure. Let's just go through the whole thing. And I think I said this in my B&B review. And granted, it makes sense that this is the first time you're watching it. They gotta kind of re-go through everything, right? That they gotta give you the cliff notes of the events that led up into today's episode. So for a newcomer, this is what's needed. For somebody who's been watching this for a while, you can just already tell how much of a time waster that is. And it's just, oh, then Nina starts to play this denial game where she can't believe it. She can't believe that Carly's telling the truth, and she tries to poke holes at her story. No, you're just being mean. You're just being cruel. I don't know what kind of joke this is. And there's one point she's about to walk away, and I'm just like, yeah, we're just stretching this whole thing out, right? We're just gonna stretch it out to the max. Finally, when she really thinks back all those times she interacted with Willow, it dawns on her, right? The light bulb goes off in her head. She realizes that Carly's telling the truth. Um, and then she does this whole. I don't know if this is overacting or if this is just her version of passion, as far as just being passionate in the scene. Remember that scene when she got upset with Valentine and she starts getting this voice, this low high voice where she's like trying to be like the most over the top diva as possible. That's what she was doing with Carly. And part of it came across as laughable, if I'm going to be honest. She was like, no, you, and I can't say because of YouTube or whatever, but she says the B word, right? And I'm just like, man, that was kind of flat. That was it. So what you got? But then she turns around, she's like, you're selfish, this, that, and the third. I was like, all right, that's more like it. That when she started going in on that, I was like, all right, that's a lot better. But in all reality, I'll sit there and say it's kind of flat right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I kind of understand it to some extent. Time is not on Willow's side, and Nina's like, you know what? Listen, I will deal with you later. So they're probably going to be maybe more of a bitter explosion. But for right now, I'm going to be honest. This was kind of lacking in some ways. It wasn't the worst. Okay, it wasn't. It didn't fall totally flat. But I felt like it could have been better. I felt like it needed to be more yelling, more name calling, more slapping, more hair pulling, more something. Okay, I feel like if this was in the 90s or even maybe the early 2000s, like really early, like 2004, 2002, we would have saw a good old fashioned censors. But you know what I'm talking about, though, okay? They would have really threw down. And I don't know if they're trying to go the safe route of, we're not going to promote violence. Whatever it is. But I felt like this would have been a lot better if this was like in the 90s. Fortunately, we got the scene that we got today, and it is what it is. Um, I understand where Portia's coming from to some extent, because let's be honest, the minute that Spencer got in her life, it hasn't been good since. Okay? And it's only now starting to get a lot better, right? So I understand her whole hesitation about, her being friends with Spencer and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, she can make her own choices. She's 19 years old, okay? She's legal age of voting, you know? So towards the end, when she's being all like super controlling, talking about, oh, I'm gonna make sure, like pretty much she's gonna meddle, okay? She's gonna meddle. Even when Kurt's just like, Trina did sit there and say things about boundaries and stuff, and she's all like, well, I would understand that, but I'm gonna sit there and do what I want, okay? I'm gonna do what I want. Now I know that some people are gonna sit there and say, well, that's her mother. I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, you gotta sit there and let them make their own mistakes. Okay, what is she gonna do? Sit there and chaperone her to the room and just keep her there? What she gonna follow her around? She gonna hire Curtis, the private investigator that couldn't even be bothered to do any research or anything whatsoever as far as trying to get Trina exonerated? What's her big plan? She's gonna do something. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be annoyed about it because Portia has been pushing my buttons lately. Now the whole scenes with Spencer and Alexis, I'm gonna be honest, it didn't really go too much of anywhere except for Spencer did talk about the nanny, right? Talked about how Sam was not there looking into it, but then Trina got exonerated, so he didn't follow up. And I'm just like, yeah, that's funny because Sam seemed like she didn't really do anything once she got assigned. Once when Spencer was asking for help, I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna look into it. And then nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm gonna be honest, I would pause it to go get like actual whole thing of water. I just don't feel like doing it. Hmm. Yeah. So he talked about the nanny, Josh. In some ways, I didn't really understand why Diane was needed, but in other ways, I did because the only thing that Diane did was go there and tell Trina to be like, "Hey, I saw the hook killer. They came after me, and then I ran off." What was the point of stonewalling them up until that point? Do you understand how much money Diane is probably charging for a conversation that lasted, what, under 5 minutes? I'm gonna be honest, I felt like it was kind of sneaky for Dante to sit there and call Joss to come to the police station, trying to use the brother card. And then when he opens the door, you got Jordan and you got Robert right there. You know what? Never mind. I take back my original statement. I'm glad that she called Diane because I felt like that was a real underhanded move. And I understand that they wanted her to sit there and tell the truth. And then I guess in all retrospect, all she had to sit there and do was tell her version and just leave Dex out. But in some ways, I'm glad that Diane was there just to kind of, put them on notice and remind them, like, yo, listen, you're not gonna be interrogating people without counsel, right? Like, did you forget all the times that I'll be here with Jason and Carly and Sonny and pretty much anyone else? So I'm kind of mixed by that, to be honest, but whatever. Uh, Josh was somewhat decent as Sonny, and Michael was somewhat decent as Sonny. Willow finally woke up. I didn't get to see the end for some odd reasons. Now I got to sit there and think about actually getting a cable box. Either that, or I'm gonna have to put out my reviews a little bit more later, just like I did yesterday. And you know, in all retrospect, when I really sat there and I thought about it, I was like, I mean, I finally got to see the last 5 minutes, and I was just like, wait. So I was gonna sit there and wait till like 10 o'clock or whatever to sit there and do this review for those 5 minutes. Now, granted, they could have been good. They could have been cliffhangers. I don't know. I'm gonna sit there and watch it on Hulu and wait and see. But I don't know. Maybe it was good. Drew and Sonny talked, but you know when Sonny was asking Drew like, "Yo, what's going on? Why did Carly have to see Nina for?" Drew was like, "You know, listen, I can't tell you. You know, it's not my story to tell." Sonny was like, "Well, it concerns my family, so you better start talking or something." I'm like, "Or else what? What are you gonna do, Sonny? What are you gonna do if he decides not to talk?" I mean, I know Sonny can probably handle herself a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest. As much as I like Sonny, you ain't taking Drew. You're just not gonna be able to take Drew. Let's just be real. Sonny has a way of shooting his mouth off. It's like the time when Jason took over the business, when Jason asked Sonny to do one thing, respect the fact that I do not want you going out with Emily, and he didn't listen, and so Jason took his business away, and there was really nothing he can do. Um, and he had to just sit there and just sit on it. So for him to sit there and get all kind of ballsy with Drew talking about, well, you're gonna have to tell me or something like that, I was like, or else what? That's all it's not there. That's all it's not there waiting for. Or else what? I like Sonny, but I'm like, bro, he was literally sit there and beat the britches off of you. Let's just be real. Maybe if this was like 2000 and you know what? No, screw that. He still won't be able to take him. And I did leave out a scene. I did leave out a scene. And that's pretty much that now Michael knows that Nina is Willow's mother. So when Willow did wake up and Michael started talking about Nina and Willow's like, oh, I don't want to hear that name again. Michael was like, well, here's the thing about that. I don't know if he actually got a chance to tell her, but this whole drawing out thing is just not working for me. Even that whole scene with Carly and Nina, I felt like it was just drawn out. Um, but of course, it was for catching people up, so whatever. I got mixed feelings about it, but whatever. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened. I mean, Dante did apologize, but it was like, why? Like they knew about it, and in all reality, Jordan did sit there and say, you know what, I can do it. I can sit there and call, I can sit there and take lead point on this. And Dante should have let her do that instead of pretty much ambushing. I mean, granted, they're not technically like related, but like, still, it just seems kind of messed up. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. If I missed anything, we'll sit there and talk about it during the live stream, which is gonna be tonight, 8 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern. I mean, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.